Give a portion to 7. In other words, 7 means the way of the Lord. You can't talk about 7 without talking about perfection. And the only personality that is perfect is who? God. So you can't talk about 7 without talking about perfection. He said, give to God. Give the way God gives. The way of the Lord. Give the way God gives. And when you give, don't just stop. He said continue. Why? Because 8 is the number of beginning. Is the number of continuation. He said, give the way God gives and continue to give that way. That is what the Bible is talking about. And these are the people that when they give, evil clears from their way. Evil clears from their way. He said, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. For thou knowest not knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. Now, what can we learn from this again? Look up here. For thou knowest not the evil that will be upon the earth. What evil shall be upon the earth? In other words, there are some evils that have been planned and packaged and discharged against you that you may not even know. Do you know, I have done some scriptural research and I have discovered that the evil you know are less than the evil you don't know. In other words, the evil you don't know is more than the evil that you know. Now, what is evil? Evil is that which devil does. That is what evil is. Now, you see, the devil. What differentiates evil from the devil is just that D. And that D stands for doings. In other words, evil is the devil's doings. The doings of the devil. Whatever devil does is evil. It is not God that afflicts you with sickness. It's not God that brings shame upon your life. It's not God that keeps you stagnated. It is not God that manipulates you into accidents. It is not God that brings diseases upon your life, disappointments upon your life, frustrations upon your life. It is not God that causes that business not to work the way it should work. What are all these things? They are all evil. He said, give a portion to 7 and also to 8. In other words, give and continue to give. Why? Because you do not know the doings of the devil that have been designed, developed, and at the same time deposited against you. How do you stop it? How do you resist it? How do you get delivered from it? It is by giving. Somebody say by giving. By giving. So the giver is not giving in the interest of God or in favor of God. No, he is giving in his own interest, in his own giving. Now listen to me and hear this. Wait and hear this. Wait and hear this. It will help you. Wait and hear this. It will help you. Never you, when it is time to give, become ignorant, become careless, and become foolish. I have taught you that one of the most sensitive session of the service is not just when the word is coming, no, but when it is time to give. Go through the Bible, you will see many of them that lost their lives. You will see many of them that their lives were lifted. You will see many of them that experienced what is called generational shift, generational transition, generational move, just by giving. Just by giving. Just by giving. So there's a need for you to understand the place of giving. A giver does not give because he has. No. A giver has made giving his natural way of living. A giver does not give because he has. No. A giver gives because God, that is what God has for him. That is the lifestyle that God wants him to live. A giver gives because he wants to have. He wants to have deliverance from evil. And that is what Bible speaking, he said, give a portion to 7 and also to 8. For thou knowest not what evil that shall be upon the earth. Can I tell you something? Do you know that some people just to go to Ogige Market from here have died? Do you know that some people just to travel to Onitsha to go and buy some business items, materials, never came back alive? Some people just to take their children to their school, to do school run, they never in any way continue to live. What actually claimed their life? It was an evil set up that they never knew about. If they had known about it, they would have maybe navigated through it. But they never knew. And that is why Bible speaking, he said, don't play with giving. Why? Because giving handles all these kind of evils. Giving handles all this kind of evil. And that is why I'm telling you. Can I tell you something? I said, when it comes to giving, don't be careless. Don't be careless. You are not giving it to help the church. You are not giving it to help the man of God. You are not giving it to help God. You are giving it for your own help. My people perish for lack of knowledge. There's a need for us to know that. And that is why when you are traveling like this, can I tell you something? It doesn't matter how small. Provided God is the one telling you, make sure that you give something, you drop something in the hand of God. You put something in the hand of God. Why? Listen to this. What you give does exceedingly, abundantly, and above, and more than what you withhold from God. What you withhold from God can never do for you. Can never do for you. In other words, what you withhold from God can never do half of half plus half of half minus half of half of the quarter of what you give to God can do for you. Some people, just because of 1,000 naira, has lost their lives. Some people, just because of a pair of shoes, God has been telling them, give this shoe. There is an evil coming. I want you to escape this evil. I want this evil to be stopped for you. I want you to be able to resist this evil. But just because of their too much love for the shoe, devil came and stole their lives and left the shoe. And that is why I said, what you give does much more better, much more greater things than what you withhold from God. Ananias, Sapphira, the couples, they came just because of what they withheld. In addition with in addition to the lies that they told, they lost their lives, leaving the children orphans. Leaving the children orphans. But you must have to understand that there is nothing that you have here on earth that has not been given to you by God. When there is promptness for you to give. He said, for it is he that causes you to will and both to do. Whenever there is a nudge, whenever there is a promptness, whenever there is a tagging on you by the Holy Spirit to give, don't delay it. I'm telling you the truth. Why? Because by your giving, you can stop evil. By your giving, you can resist evil. By your giving, you can be delivered from evil. A man of God was traveling outside the country. Late Benson, Archbishop Benson Idahosa, was traveling to I think, he was traveling outside the country. I have forgotten the country. But do you know what happened? The Spirit of God told him, go to this church member and tell them that they must have to sponsor your traveling abroad. You know how he behaved when he was here. He told the driver, they went there and they told they drove in, they welcomed them, and then served a lot of things before them. They said, no, we are not eating. Why are you here? Your Lordship. He said, God has told me to come so that you people will give me the flight ticket. He said, where can we get the money? The wife said, honey, there's no problem. We can raise the money. Women. You know women? You know mothers? The husband said, no, this and that. He said, we can raise the money. Just give us between now and evening. The husband said that we don't have any. This. At the end of everything, they never gave that money. It became a quarrel, very strong misunderstanding between the husband and the wife. The wife was like, let us give this man of God this money. The husband was like, this and that, calculating a lot of things. Do you know the man later traveled outside the country? He was not going to them for money because he needed money to travel. He was going to them because God has sent him to go there. And at the end of everything, before the man came back, robbers went to the man's house. No, not where the man was working. And they killed about 3 persons, and he was the first person to be killed. This was the evil that the man of God, God sent him to go and then give, to go and tell them to give, so that God, through that way, can avert the evil. He said, give a portion to 7 and also to 8. For thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. You must have to sit down and, under the rays of the Spirit of God, analyze the scriptures. I was traveling to somewhere I was invited. I've forgotten. I think Abakaliki. And I will pray and pray and pray and pray. I will see evil coming. Pray and pray and pray. I will see evil coming. Pray and pray and pray. It got a point that I called all my pastors. Come, we are going to be praying, for some days before I make this journey. When they came together, we were praying. The same revelation was coming. And then at the end of everything, the date for me to travel came. And I told Evangelist, Mommy, Amuchi, Joy, Abugu, send me one of your cars. I'm going to Abakaliki, and I want. God has told me to use the car. He said, Daddy, there's no problem. Before I knew it, he has, her driver has brought the car. And then I prepared and I entered the car, I drove off. I had already gone beyond total before God told me, say, if you want to come back from this journey, go back to your spiritual father and put a seed into his hand. I was like, hey, but the money I have here is for the fuel, this and that. He said, go back. And I was at the cathedral church, in front of the cathedral church, Catholic cathedral church. And then he told me, say, go back. And I went back. Called him. Where are you? He said he was so place. I drove to where he was. It was just 30,000 naira. 30,000 naira. And then I left for the journey. In the heart, getting to the heart of Abakaliki, Okada man who was carrying another man, young man. Bah! Before I knew it, they were already on the ground. People had gathered. You know Abakaliki people, they don't waste time. They will just kill you there. But you know that when these people came, everybody was just running up and down, carrying the Okada people, because both of them were on the ground. And at the end of everything, by the special grace of God, we took care of the hospital. But after 7 days, the Okada man died. He said, give a portion to 7 and also to 8. For thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. I want to beg you, church, whenever there is a prompting in your heart to give, don't withhold. Don't. You remember that young rich man? Bible speaking, he said that he after his land had, profusely and plentifully produced, God expected him to give, but he withheld it. And that was how his soul was required of him that particular night. You don't know how much you miss when you are meant to give and you withhold. I'm telling you. Don't forget what I told you that a giver is. A giver is not the people that have everything. No. Remember that widow in St. Mark, the Gospel, chapter 12, from verse 41 down to 44. Even though he had her last living with her, but this was what she dropped. This was what she dropped. So a giver is not giving because he has. A giver is giving because that is his nature. He can never allow any giving opportunity to bypass him. No. Even if there is no giving opportunity, he creates one to give. He creates one to give. And can I tell you something I have discovered about giving as I summarize? I have discovered that you can never outgive God. And that is why I told you the fourth point I took time to look at was, I say, when you give, God multiplies what you have given and returns it back to you. You can't outgive God. So no matter how big, no matter how great, no matter how large what you give may be, it goes out, it leaves your hand to create a room for something better, for something larger, for something greater to come in, to locate your life. That is the mystery of giving. Whenever something smaller leaves you, because there's nothing that you can give that is not small, that will not be smaller than what you will receive. Now, finally, you see, give a portion to 7, a portion to 8. Live a life of giving. I have also discovered that when you give, you live above what you have given. You can't live below or in between what you give. No. You can't live below or in between what you give. When you go and ask those who give, I'm telling you, the secret of success is giving. I've told you before, I'm not being given because I'm a man of God. I'm not being given because I pray for people or I deliver people or whatever. No, it is not true. Why I'm giving is because I am a giving man of God. I give. I love giving. I love giving. The worst thing you can do to my life is to stop me from giving. And this was why before I married, I told God, I need a wife that understands the place of giving. I wouldn't want a wife that when it is time for me to give, he will be like calculating this, calculating that. If not, I will end up in poverty. One of the things that God told me when I was in second year, he said, I have seen your heart, how you glue so much to the things of God. You may not at this particular time be able to do some secular businesses. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to teach you how to give. I mean, the business to do. And I was like, God, what is that? I remember that fateful evening. I was going to church for a fellowship in the evening. And that was how God told me. He said, look at this. Make giving your business. Make giving your business. Make giving your business. So no matter what, I don't struggle to give. I don't find it difficult to give. I don't in any way find it hard to give. I remember some time ago, I think that was last year, Thanksgiving. I told them that I am going to be providing the drinks. And later, one of our daddies called me and he said, how can you feed us spiritually? And then you will come again to feed us physically. He said, don't pay. I'm going to pay for you. I said, no. You don't need to. Are you trying to deny me of my... I know what I am doing. I'm not doing it just because of any... That is who a giver is. A giver is somebody that gives revelationally. How do you give revelationally? You give within the circumference of the scriptures and at the same time under the leadership of the Holy Spirit. You don't just give. No. You don't just give. No. You give because this is how you are expected to live your life. This is what God expects from you. This is how you are supposed to live. There are many men of God that they can preach giving. They can teach you on giving, but they cannot give. And that is why sometimes when you see their lives, you will be like, what is happening? It is not a man of God again. Very, very important. Give a portion to 7 and also to 8. For you do not know what evil shall be upon the earth. Whether you know the evil or you don't know the evil, and you are living a giving lifestyle, whether you know the evil or not, whether the evil is known to you or not known to you, can I tell you something? By your giving, he said, give a portion. Can this be stable? Give a portion to 7. Your giving can deliver you from evil. Your giving can stop evil from accessing you. Your giving can at the same time resist the evil for you. Very, very important. That is what the Bible is saying. That is what the Bible is saying. No, now, when you are coming to give like this, when you are coming to give, you are coming to stop evil. You're on your way to give. You're on your way to resist evil. You're on your way to give. You're on your way to be delivered from evil, whether you know it or not. I have told you before, Jesus was not given by God to stop the Christians from giving. Jesus was given by God to shock the Christians to start giving. For the Christians to start giving, to show the Christians what to give, to show the Christians how to give, and to show the Christians where and when to give, why they should give.